welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie. Look forward to this conversation.
And I mean, you've spent your career, you started at Nielsen, you've been at dunnhumby, and now I really look at you as one of those people who is at the forefront of retail media. Kroger got into it, I think, before it was, the biggest buzzword it can in advertising.
Well, we certainly weren't the first, but we've been far from the last. Yeah. We're about 6.5 years in.
So, Cara, I think the best leaders have this uncanny ability to see around corners and kind of have this sense of what's coming next. And I'm curious for you, how do you approach that? How do you stay current? How do you see what's coming down the pike?
It's an awesome question, because if you're planning for today, you're going to be left behind. And so it is one of those spaces where we have to have courage and commitment to take steps forward before other people. I'm a firm believer that to be one of the leaders in this space, you have to set the bar, and you have to set a high bar for others to rise up to. It's a special opportunity and responsibility that we have. And so one of the anchor points that we build all of our planning around is consumer experiences. When we're designing new experiences with a customer in mind, good things will happen. Good things for brands, good things for publishers, good things for retailers, right? The sales velocity that you can see through. Good things for non-endemic brands too is what we're learning, right? This opportunity to use these data signals, in a more holistic way. There's a fabulous quote from Winston Churchill that speaks to success is not final and failure is not fatal. It's the courage to go on that counts. And that's one of those spaces that really is front of mind for me. If we are not courageous and not leaning forward, it's okay to fail fast. We've got to learn. We've got to push the boundaries responsibly, but do so setting a really high bar. That's what this industry deserves.
You mentioned accountability. What does that mean to you in the industry?
If you look historically at the very start, it really anchored in business outcomes. And now it's business outcomes, and we can continue to layer on some other components, including sustainability within media as an accountable, responsible commitment that we have. And so one of the spaces that we've been exploring and committing to and learning and optimizing against is the carbon footprint of the ads that we're deploying. In fact, we've been doing that work with Scope 3, and when we've been deploying our campaigns, naturally, because we have the right audience, and you can deploy fewer impressions when you have the right audience and connect with that customer, we've deployed or kind of actualized 17% less carbon than the average US ad campaign. Then we've overlaid some extra optimizations against that, and the latest runs were 37% less reduction in our ad campaigns on carbon. So that is an extraordinary commitment that we have. We think is very important as a complement and a commitment on the actual business outcomes.
So if an impression is efficient, meaning the right ad goes to the right person at the right time in the right place, it can be sustainable.
Yes, and efficiency and effectiveness can coexist.
Let's talk about innovation. So obviously there's so much innovation happening right now, tons of change. What's the piece of innovation that you have your eye on and think is really going to change digital marketing?
It's really an awesome time to reflect on the very young journey that retail media is in. And what we think is critically important is to distinctively separate retail media from retail data. That is a component where retail media definitely can influence low funnel retailers as publishers, but retail data can act more as a layer across channels. And that's where the effectiveness and efficiency can come forward, no matter where those dollars are being spent. And it goes back to that connection on audience as well.
Last question. I'm curious to know what your hot take is on media. Do you have an unpopular opinion about anything? Is there a misconception in the industry that you wish you could clear up?
What a good question. Goodness, listen, I have for years talked about the vanity metrics that exist in this industry. There is no doubt that performance signals have to be at the forefront of measuring the impact of advertising. And that can play out in really special ways. The impact on audiences, the impact on creative, the impact on channel mix, but we have to be looking at business outcomes and building this puzzle piece to understand performance as a starting point, and how does business outcomes and sales velocity or household engagement, what is the correlation to attention metrics, which was the next layer of understanding, is click-through rate and viewability, a good kind of moniker into success? The answer is no, there isn't a sales correlation between high click-through rate. There isn't a sales correlation between high viewability. We're not even seeing a sales correlation to high attention metrics that are coming through. Now, is it another lens that organizations should be looking at? Sure, it's just another KPI. We're all trying to change behaviors. We're trying to move inspiration to activation and see those actions. And so we're excited to continue to push the envelope there. And, I think that that's what this industry needs. They need folks that are shining lights and challenging myth-busting ways of the past.
Cara, I appreciate how deeply you can go on this space. I could talk to you for a really long time, and I'm so happy that you came into the studio today. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate being here.